Hi, hello, shalom. My name is Haley Beckel, and today we are going to be talking about why American Airlines is quite possibly the worst airline to ever exist. So my family and I's trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico was last week. We got up at 5:30, flight was at 7, then right as we're about to walk out the door, we find out that our flight has been canceled. And then we had to change everything. But this is not the worst of it. This was just the beginning. After this great vacation, it's time to leave. And we get to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And Dallas DFW is the hub for American Airlines. And we are supposed to take this flight from DFW to Savannah. And there was already a 4-hour layover, but this is the only way that we were gonna be able to get home that day. We were expecting to get home at midnight at the latest. Still wasn't a big deal. However, the closer we got to our flight, the more it got delayed. It was delayed in total 9 times before it was canceled. It is 11:44. Oh, you can't see that. It's 11:44. You still can't see it. Whatever. It's 11:44 at night right now, and we have been traveling since 6:30 in the morning. American Airlines delayed our flight back home 9 times and just canceled it. We are in a hotel room that we're so lucky to have right now because we booked it last minute, and we're gonna try this again tomorrow. Will we ever get home? I'm not sure. You will have to stay tuned and find out. So we waited it out for like 8 hours. We spent in this airport waiting for them to cancel the flight. It was insane. And there were people around us that we talked to too who were going through the same thing. There were some thunderstorms. A really big storm had happened while we were in the air going from Puerto Vallarta to DFW. So we knew that. But the fact that American Airlines did not cancel their flight until the last minute was insane. Everybody was running around. In front of the gate, people were sitting down, camping out, just waiting to hear what was going on. So we barely get any sleep, and we are on the phone with them. They call us at 4 a.m. We're on like hold until 4 a.m. to get tickets to try to get home the next day. So we were on standby for a flight at 10:20 because there were no tickets left. We get up early, leave 8 o'clock, get to the airport, and we're thinking, okay, it was just that day, it's all good, you know. There was thunderstorms, a crane fell through a hotel, someone died, there was a lot of issues, it will be fine, everything should be back to normal, back to business. It's not. No, it's not. So now we're waiting for this 10:20 flight. It's delayed. It's delayed again. It's delayed again. Now it's delayed one more time, 12 p.m. Then they finally start boarding. And we're on standby, so it's very unlikely that we're gonna get on this flight. And luckily, there was enough room because people were so fed up with the delays and that they couldn't get to their next connecting flight, they just left. So there were 2 spots open. So my dad and my sister get on the plane. And we're like, bye, waving them off, goodbye, you know, like, we'll see you at home. They had to get the dog. He was at the kennel, he was having issues at the kennel, he was having an anxiety attack. So we really needed to get home, and they got on that flight so that could happen. But here's the problem. Once they got on the plane, they were stuck on the ground for over an hour because the pilot didn't show up. The pilot was MIA. And my mom and I are waiting outside the gate. We're waiting for them to take off to make sure everything's okay, knowing as to what happened yesterday night, it would be very likely that they would have to get off. It could be very likely that they would have to get off the plane and we'd have to start all over again. So we're waiting, and we're asking one of the people at the gate, one of the employees at the gate, and we're like, what's going on? Why haven't they taken off yet? And she says, oh yeah, the pilot was supposed to be in Terminal C and said he was getting food and coming straight to the plane, but nobody can find him. He's gone. So then my mom and I are running around. She's mostly doing the running, but she's running around and is trying to get a pilot to get on this flight so my dad and sister can get home and get our dog. And she's asking people, she's going up to pilots and going like, where are you going? Can you do this one? Because the pilot isn't here. And they'd always, they'd say, oh, sorry, can't do that. I have to go my own way, kind of thing. So apparently a pilot, if they've worked enough hours, can just walk away and nobody does anything. So they're stuck until another pilot comes and finally they take off. But my mom and I had a flight at 2:45, and they took off about 15 to 20 minutes before we boarded our plane, and their flight was supposed to be at 10:20. That is just insane. There's no other word I can use to describe this, but it's just like, what? 10:20. And then 2:45. We still had to wait on ours too, but it wasn't over an hour. It was like 30 minutes or so. We were stuck on the ground and we were mentally preparing ourselves to get off after seeing that. Because the maintenance comes over and we hear it on the intercom from the pilot. We actually had our pilot. And he says, yeah, we're having some maintenance issues in the back. Looks like something's going on back there. We're gonna have to check it out. And we're thinking, okay, we're gonna have to get off the plane. It's over, it's done. But I guess everything was fine, and that was fine. We didn't nearly have that after that night before, no sleep. It was just like, are we ever gonna get home? And we did, eventually. And we're home now. But if American Airlines can just get their stuff together and take care of their crew members, their employees, then this wouldn't happen. They're so disorganized. Their employees are so done. They don't care because they don't take care of them. That's the issue. If they had a pilot, if they had not problems with their planes, and if their crew wasn't so sparse, they had about 4 people outside working. Well, there could have been way more than that. They're on strike. If they had handled this, then maybe we wouldn't have had this issue. Before I go, I want to ask you one thing. Is there a airline that you just can't stand, one that you really have issues with? Is it American Airlines? Is it Delta? Is it whatever? I don't know. I have some beef with American, and that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.